What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the 100th episode of the Star Wars Exchange. Happy Star Wars Day, everyone. Hope you're all going well. This is going to be a super fun podcast. We're so excited to get into this. Before we do, though, Mike, how are you going for? Well, it's not quite the 100th time, but it's the 100th time for the Exchange. How are you going, mate?
It's crazy. It's crazy. I can't believe this podcast has reached 100 episodes. And this is your 100th podcast episode for Star Wars Exchange, for the Star Wars Exchange. This is only like my 70th or something like that, but it's amazing to
We'll
be here.
talk about this in a second, but just so everyone knows, the podcast would not have got to 100 episodes without Mike. So
Interesting.
Mike plays
Did not know
the very pivotal role in the podcast. So yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that all soon. Let's talk about May the 4th. Happy Star Wars Day to everyone. Yeah, it's cool. May the 4th is cool, guys. It's
Happy Star Wars
Christmas
Day.
for us Star Wars fans. Except me and Mike always talk about, oh great, it's Star Wars Day. It's every day for us. You know, we're always on the internet talking about it, yelling about it, as some people would say. But yeah, Mike, what does May 4th actually mean to you?
I always feel so directionless during May 4th. I'm just kidding. Sorry, I was just making a joke to our Amanda season 3 commentary. But for Star Wars Day, I mean, every day is Star Wars Day for me. I mean, whether I like it or not, it's Star Wars Day, and sometimes I'm in the mood for Star Wars, and sometimes I'm not. But it's just my job at this point to make sure everybody else is enjoying Star Wars as much as you and I are. I go on my Instagram page to celebrate Star Wars every freaking day, and I'm not going to swear like we did yesterday on the Survivor pod, but it's just every day is Star Wars Day, and I love sharing that with everyone. But if for May 4th, I love that for that Star Wars Day for everyone. Now you'll get your coworkers saying it to you, your classmates being like, "Oh, it's Star Wars Day." Probably a quick reference from the teacher being like, "Oh yeah, it's May the 4th be with you." It's like, "Oh great, yeah, we know." But yeah, to me, especially in high school, when at the beginning Star Wars wasn't popular yet. Again, whenever there was those mentions of Star Wars Day, I would get excited in my seat. I'd be like, yes, like a Star Wars reference. But obviously, Star Wars is just everywhere and anything now. So not that it's less special, but it's back in those days was very, very special to me. And now I'm just like, well, it's every day for me. So I like it though, because it's like tomorrow it's like, oh yeah, no, it's now I'm gonna get like a whole bunch of memes and those like pictures from like my older relatives being like, happy May 4th Star Wars Day. I'm like, yeah, thank you. Which is nice. But Star Wars Day is every day for me. And you know what?
Yeah.
Also, shout out what I'm wearing, Heroes versus Villains, that apparel store. I also like May 4th because then I get a whole bunch of cool things from all these cool companies. And I mean, look at this stuff. They sent me a bomber jacket, and it is just the coolest thing, and we're rocking with it. So yes,
you
May
can't
4th.
fight me on the fact that Mike is the king of Star Wars Instagram. Just look at him there, sitting in his jacket.
You know what? I didn't get this for nothing. Okay, this is the dark saber right here.
Exactly.
Look at
And
that,
I'm saying, yeah.
But listen to that. But anyway, so yeah, Star Wars Day for me is now it's celebrating with everybody. So when I was a kid, I think it was more special to me. But now it's still special, but in a different way, because now it feels like Christmas when you're the adult. It's like when you're a kid, you relish in the presents and everything, and you're just stuck in the mindset of opening presents on Christmas morning, or like Hispanics do on Christmas Eve. And now when you're the adult, it's like you're not really there for you. You're there for the kids, and passing on that happiness to everyone else. And that's what it is now. It's like passing that on to everyone else. It's like, I
Like
had
what
my
we're
phone.
trying to say is, like, we see you all as children.
Yes, we really do. So no, good children, good children. So it's like it's just a day
Yeah.
that we all get to celebrate. So
No.
yeah. Anyways, that's my May 4th tangent. How about you? What do
No.
you? It's May 4th, the day we're recording this. And it's May 4th for
Well,
you.
May
So
4th for me, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No,
happy Star
this
Wars
is the
Day.
best way to spend my May the 4th. But I completely agree
Let's
with what
go.
you say. And I feel almost exactly the same. I think to add to what you said, one of the best parts about it is that usually, we're in it is Star Wars Day every day for us in our little bubbles of friends where we're all so extremely obsessed by it. But all of a sudden, everyone's talking about it. My family members who usually don't care about Star Wars are like, "Oh yeah, May the 4th be with you," making stupid jokes or whatever. Or for some people, they do actually think, "Oh, May the 4th. Oh yeah, Star Wars. Maybe I'll watch a Star Wars movie tonight," which is awesome because Star Wars has always spread so much happiness to everyone, and more than anything, it's just a great day to celebrate Star Wars. Whether you do that every day or not, it's a day that everyone can, and obviously not everyone will, and not everyone has to, but for the people that want to, it's a great opportunity, and I'm glad that it's become a thing of like Star Wars Day, because I think that's fantastic, and I think it deserves a day because, like I said, it's all about positivity, all about happiness, and why wouldn't you want a day like that? But yeah, but Mike, everyone is always asking. I was actually talking to someone about this recently who is a lesser Star Wars fan, but they're involved. They're wondering, okay, so Star Wars Day, May the 4th, that's cool and all. But what do you actually do on Star Wars Day? Because there isn't a concrete set of rules. On Halloween or Thanksgiving or Christmas, whatever it is, there's sort of like the things that you do. But on Star Wars Day, there isn't really a set rule of things. Everyone sort of has their own thing, which kind of makes the day special, I feel like, because everyone can just do whatever they want to do. For me, I'm sitting here recording my Star Wars podcast. For someone else, they might be building a Lego set, or for someone else, they might be, watching a Star Wars movie, which is cool. But if there were to be rules, what were they, or just what do you do on Star Wars Day? Tell us.
I definitely think it should be something that you enjoy the most out of Star Wars. I think if you enjoy the video games the most, play some damn video games. Play Battlefront. Play Battlefront with friends. I mean, I'm actually, every year is very different. Because one year I spent baking for this book that I got, and I baked like this cool thing, and then I presented out May 4th of what I baked and shared pictures of it for this book that was sent to me. And I'm like, this is so cool. And the next year was getting to review Bad Batch and watch it ahead of everybody else. Watching the Bad Batch premiere aftermath, like that was such an insane opportunity and experience as a die-hard Clone Wars fan, and getting able to see like the continuation of it, the legacy of Clone Wars ahead of everyone else. A screener from Lucasfilm was mind-boggling. I think like 10-year-old me died. Like, you're watching this on bootleg now, like the boot for the Clone Wars movie, and one day you're gonna, before everybody else, you're gonna watch the sequel to the series, and that was just, man, that was fulfilling. And also I was just like, oh man, people are not gonna like this Caleb Doom stuff, so it was nice sitting on that before everybody else. So that was a secret that I had to keep. So that was very interesting. But nowadays, like I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm working like 6 in the morning to like 1 p.m. in the afternoon. I found out a bit ago. So I'm like, okay, that gives me some time though, because I was supposed to work from the afternoon to the evening. And I was like, man, that takes up a lot of my day, of Star Wars. That's right in the middle. And I really plan on just tomorrow, maybe, or I guess when people are listening to this, watching this today, just relaxing, watching Rebels. I love Rebels. I'm doing a marathon right now, lead up to Ahsoka. I'll probably watch some episodes of Rebels, read a little bit, and really just spend my day posting on Instagram. Because I think that's a very good question. It's like, what do you do on May 4th? But for us, it's like, well, we're content creators. We got a job to do. We got things to post and podcasts to put out and stuff. And it's fun. Like I love that aspect of being the grown up and being the one to do that and making people's May 4ths all the more special. Like, I got to make a post that people like maybe like Ari's brother that's not really involved in the Instagram Star Wars community. He sees like my posts talking about like May 4th, or like I do like a collage and it's like May 4th. And then he's like, oh, it is Star Wars Day. Let me share that on my story. So I got to do kind of graphics for people to share on their story type thing. But yeah, like I said,
A
I
lot of
really
pressure
don't.
on Jasper to share this post to his story.
He better, or if
Hey,
not,
shout out Jasper in episode 100, by the way. He's my brother.
it,
He's listened to a lot of podcasts, but he's tuned out a bit lately because doesn't like the Mando takes. But no, shout out Jasper in Ep
shout out,
100.
shout out Jasper. I will be meeting Jasper very soon,
Mm.
so very excited for that.
That's
But
gonna be
yeah,
interesting.
I don't have any really like set things or what people should do. I think at the end of it, do what you want, do what you
Yeah.
love. If it's really watching Star Wars, I even told Ari, I was like, we should watch like a Star Wars
Mm.
thing for May 4th or whatever, and just chill and hang out because we don't obviously we're very remote. We can't hang
Yeah.
out in person that often. But I'm like, let's watch something Star Wars related. Just we've seen stuff hundreds of times, but it's just cool watching it, something together and everything. So do something with a buddy or yourself. Go on Star Wars Instagram or Star Wars YouTube. There's tons of stuff for you to do, or even local events. I saw so
Yeah.
many here in Chicago of like local trivia nights at bars and stuff. Go
Yeah.
seek it out.
For
How about
sure.
you,
For
Ari?
sure.
Any traditions?
No, I agree, and it's been different for me every year as well. But yeah, at the end of the day, really go out there and do what you want. I think this is one of my favorite Star Wars Day memories right here, recording the 100th episode of the podcast. I think this is just fantastic. But yeah, no, it's been nice as well from Lucasfilm, the recognition of the day. Always trying to if a piece of content is going to be released around the end of April, start of May time, they go, yeah, let's put that on May 4th. Like, we got Visions Volume 2 coming out, which is going to be cool. We had the Bad Batch Season 1 premiere, as you mentioned, come out May 4th a few years ago. So yeah, no, it's just a day to go out, celebrate, do whatever you want. I remember one of my favorite experiences was just I think I might have been 13, 14, and I just faked sick so I didn't have to go to school. I think I might have been a little bit sick, but I definitely could have gone to school. And so I just sat home and I watched Clone Wars, I watched Rebels, I watched A New Hope. And that was one of my favorite Star Wars days ever because it was just so peaceful. And yeah, you guys know how high school is. Sometimes you just want that day off and sit home. And if you're a Star Wars fan, just watch Star Wars all day. And that's what I did. So that's one of
You
my
did that.
favorite memories.
You
Yeah,
did that May
yeah.
4th.
Yeah, back in the day, that would have been like 6, 7 years ago now. But
That is so funny.
yeah,
I would have been wanting to go because I'm like, oh, today's Star Wars Day. Today's a big day at school and whatever. Even
yeah, I know, but
Snapchat.
I think some people will just take the opportunity to make fun of it, though. You know what I
Oh,
mean? And I wasn't
yeah.
there for that because as you guys know, I take myself so seriously, which unironically I do sometimes. So, I was like, no, I don't want to hear all that. I want to sit here and enjoy it myself, and I'll be on Instagram. I'm sure it's on Instagram that day a lot as well. So yeah,
That's awesome. That's cool. That is a cool story. Oh yeah, and we have Visions coming out tomorrow too, or
yeah,
today. I need to watch that. I'm really hyped to see some of
yeah.
the shorts. Like they look cool.
Mm.
So yeah, that
Oh, I heard
people are gonna
really
be
good
busy.
things about it. Yeah,
Yeah, people I'm gonna be busy watching that and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna be
yeah,
watching that, making that part of my Star Wars, but also a bit of Rebels. Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of any specific story that comes with May 4th, but I just love that everyone is up in arms, not in a bad way, but everyone is talkative that it's Star Wars Day and everything. And I love
yeah.
hearing people like what you just said, that story. I just love hearing things like that. And it's like, yeah, that's so
Absolutely.
cool. That's you just got to fake sick and be like, I'm gonna stay home and watch some Star Wars. I love that.
Yeah, exactly right. And yeah, real quick, speaking of visions, we will have a review out for that in the coming weeks. So stay tuned. That we're very excited to dive into that. But yeah, that's sort of our May 4th chat. We sort of want to spend the rest of this podcast talking about the podcast, I suppose, because it is the 100th episode. So if you guys want to listen to that, stay tuned in because we're gonna tell some stories, do some reflection, and thank some of the people that make the podcast possible. But before we get into any of that, we've got a small little montage, I suppose. It's sort of it's a little audio package I put together last night that I think kind of just tells the story of the podcast in a nice way and sort of how it began, how it progressed, and to the point that it is now, and sort of tells the story of me and Mike and our sort of journey on this. So there's no video to it, so you guys are, if you're watching us on YouTube, you're literally going to be sitting here watching us listen to it, which you both already have, but we're excited to listen to it with you guys. So yeah, without further ado, this is the 100th episode special. So let's get into it.
Is up, everyone, and welcome. What is up, everyone, and welcome to the
That's the wrong clip, guys. Technical difficulties. Let's get this one back.
first
All right.
episode of the Star Wars Annals. What
And
is
we're
up,
on.
everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Star Wars Annals podcast. My name is Ari, and it is great to be here. So, yeah, welcome to the first episode of what is hopefully many, and just, you know, the beginning of something that goes for a while. You know, no matter what, if it's a massive week in Star Wars and there's loads of news, or if there's, you know, not much to talk about, pretty much nothing happens, I'm still gonna, you know, turn the mic on and have a chat every week. Chapter 16 of The Mandalorian, The Rescue, the season finale, directed by Peyton Reed. Wow, what an episode, what a way to finish off the season. Can you believe the episode we just got? Luke Skywalker, post-credit scene, Boba Fett show. What is going on? I mean, wow, okay. This week, I got another special guest, Mike from Old Star Wars. How's it going, Mike?
Hey man, finally excited to be on here with you. We've been planning this for a while, but I'm just excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, no worries. Thank you for coming on. As you said, it's been a long time coming, so looking forward to getting into this.
So maybe we could, you know, collab or something. That'd be dope.
100%. That would be epic. Would love to. This is actually going to be the last episode of the podcast the way it is right now. Not the last episode of the podcast, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. But there's some substantial changes that are coming very soon that I'm going to announce around the start of December. What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of this new chapter of the Star Wars Exchange podcast. Long story short, I found someone who I really clicked with. They're a former guest on the show. They've probably been on the most episodes out of anyone. And yeah, I just think they're a super talented podcaster. They're very interesting and someone who's honestly just very fun to talk with, listen to, and as I've started to realize over the last few days, very fun to work with as well. So without further ado, joining the show as a co-host from Chicago, it's Mike Rivera, aka All Star Wars. Mike, welcome.
Yo, Ari. I'm excited for our what the future holds for us. I'm excited for to talk about all things Star Wars with you and break things down as things get released and stuff. And yeah, you have a wonderful community, so I'm excited to chat, get to know everyone, all of your listeners a bit more. And yeah, we're just two partners trying our hand out at this, and we're just ready to seize any opportunity that we can. So I'm excited for all of it.
Very, very excited to announce today we've got ourselves one of the authors involved in the High Republic Publishing Initiative. It's Daniel Jose Holder. How you going,
Hey.
man?
Hello. What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for
worries.
coming.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Star Wars Exchange podcast. My name is Parks. I'm here with my co-host, Ari.
Good day, mate.
And today we are joined by a very special guest, the one and only account manager of the Instagram account, No Star Wars, Mike.
What's going on, everyone from Chicago?
And you listen to another book review from the Star Wars Exchange. We get books early, so if you're trying to, stay in the loop on Star Wars books, make sure to subscribe. Ari and I will be at Star Wars Celebration fairly soon. It's going to be unreal. Our first live show together. It's going to be unreal.
This is the final virtual podcast until we meet. The next time you guys hear a Star Wars Exchange podcast, Mike and I will be in the same room recording, which is bizarre.
I'm so pumped to meet you. I'm so pumped to go through the celebration process once again.
Welcome back to a very special episode of the Star Wars Exchange. It may only be episode 61, I think, but it's a big episode because it's our first official episode together. Here we are. I'm with Mike in the flesh, and Mike is with me in the flesh. But how are you today, my friend? I guess I already know, but I have to ask so that people can know.
Yeah, it's been an unreal experience. It's like seeing Ari sit here.
We've talked digitally for hours on end, like it's ridiculous. So then to see this man in the flesh was just unreal. I didn't even know how I felt. It was like emotional, just shocked, and I felt very disassociated. So I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening right now. But insane.
It took a lot for me to get there, and it took a lot from both of us. I remember just walking into the lobby and just seeing you and how tall you were, and I was like, oh my god. I remember just looking up and being like, whoa. But no, I saw him and I was like, that's my guy right there, that's Ari. And so we immediately like embraced for a hug, and we were like, oh my god, like this is insane. And the hug that I gave you, it wasn't like a like, oh my god, like just meeting someone for the first time. It was like kind of a relief that it was like that.
I was just glad that it was we did it. You know, I was like, oh, we made it, because we've been planning this forever. It felt like forever. So.
And it was, I remember it was emotional too, because I think I was just like maybe on the brink of tears or whatever, because you know, outside of just podcasting, me and Ari are really good friends and stuff. Really good friends, so brothers almost, I think brothers. So I remember just wanting to like, it was just like I said, a sense of relief, and I just gave the man a hug and was like, finally it happened.
And so it did happen.
Wow.
And I hope you guys enjoyed that. That sort of tells the story, I think, of where we started and where we are now. Obviously, so much has happened since the end of that. We've produced another like 39 episodes, and a lot has happened. But that was sort of, you know, a big moment to, you know, for me to start the podcast, meet Mike, get him on board. Then, you know, we had our little 23 episodes together, and then the next one we did was in person together, which is just insane, just so insane. So happy 100 episodes to everyone. Mike, any thoughts you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, can I talk about the podcast in general?
Whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, so listening back to that is insane. So many memories. You know, I think you can hear the extended version of this, but in the Star Wars Exchange, our story, I dive into this podcast really changing my life, and I'm not even kidding. It changed my life because when Ari had contacted me to be a guest on his show, and all my friends, all my close friends from the Instagram realm were going on this podcast, and I'm like, what is the fuss about? And then I get a message from this guy being like, oh, can you come on? And at the time I was suffering real bad anxiety and depression and all that, and had long hair, didn't leave my house because of anxiety, and it was kind of lockdown era. And it was a very, very hard time. Thinking about it now, it brings tears to my eyes, because it was such a dark time in my life. And then Ari comes along, and while things didn't get moving immediately, it planted seeds for the future and opened a door to a new tunnel, to a new dimension that, you know, eventually, like, that was February when I came on, because I even, like, I said yes, I would come on, but I was like canceled on him a couple times because I was just too anxious to join. And then when I did join, and I was so anxious, and my audio is kind of weird because I had to record from, it was a very dark time. I didn't even have a proper laptop because I had spilled like coffee on it. So I was recording from my school Chromebook, which is just horrible, but it's what I did. And I was able to chat with him, and he was just a good vibe, you know. And like I said, things didn't get hit off immediately, but then he kept bringing me back on for the podcast and stuff, and we just started collaborating a lot more. And then by the time the fall came, we just became good friends, and he was someone that I would talk to often. And Ari to me was someone, was kind of like gum that you couldn't get off your shoe, because he was just so much younger. And I mean that in the best way possible. It was this young kid coming on with just inspiring dreams, and I was just in a total different mindset, that I'm like, yeah, I want to do all that stuff that he's talking about, but I'm just like I'm doing my own thing. But he just just forced me to, no, he didn't force me, but you know, it's like he put me in that direction of doing cool things, and all the more just the life that I'm living now, and I'm able to go out and do a whole bunch of things by myself is because of this podcast and Ari. Like, so to me, is it my 100th episode here? No, but I'm celebrating this podcast, this amazing project that Ari has done when things were going on in the pandemic and decided he wanted to put his opinion out there and such. And so yeah, it's like I said, I go more in depth than that into like the our story one that we did when we were both in here in my room, but it's literally changed my life. I think, yeah, there we go.
I was just going to say that was the episode that was in the end of the montage there, the episode 61. So
which is insane. Like, it just, everything feels like it came full circle. And so yeah, like, and look at me and Ari now. Ari's literally my best friend. So I'm just like, the podcast has literally just changed everything in my life, and I'm very thankful for it. And that's why even though as tired as I may be, Ari can attest to this, it'll be like 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. when we're done, like fulfilling all their podcast duties. For me, it's like 3 and then 4 a.m. And remember when the convention weekend was happening and I was still doing all these thumbnails and videos and stuff and editing, when I was so busy, I was, I'm just committed to this. I'm not going anywhere. So but this is all in thanks and tribute to Ari, who started this, because if he didn't start a podcast, I don't think we would have ever crossed paths. And as you see here on the Kanan and Ezra, like that's literally our kind of like dynamic. So it's like, that's crazy, because if he never started a podcast, I don't think we would have ever found each other in the way we did. So and yeah, it really is like a brotherhood. So yeah, thank you, shout out Ari. First of all, thank you for creating this podcast, and congratulations on hitting 100 episodes. It's been a great run for us and you, and it's great seeing you from where you were with that, because when I came in here, Ari was like this one-man band. He was doing everything by himself, and it was just so inspiring to see it, and reminded me of a lot of what the aspiring podcaster that I want to be when I was younger, and Ari got me back in that direction. So it's just like, oh man, yeah, shout out Ari. He's hardworking, and you guys do not even know some of the stuff last year when we would podcast and Ari just was very busy with life or whatever, and he would push to make sure you guys got an episode a week, when I was like, it's okay if we take a break, or he's like, no, I don't want to let anyone down. I want to push forward to this. So really, this is a testament to Ari and celebration of him. So congrats again, buddy. How you feeling? And what are your thoughts?
No, I appreciate the undeserved praise a lot, but no, in all seriousness, this is a celebration of the podcast. And like I said at the start of the episode, but it's so true. Like, the podcast just would not have gone to 100 episodes without Mike. Like, for those that don't know, I talked about this again in our story one. So to briefly say, like, I wanted somewhere where I could talk about Star Wars without having to write essays about it. I could just sit there with the microphone. I finally got there, made the podcast, did all that, and before I knew it, Mike was on, and then by then it was sort of just like I was still testing the waters, and I came to a point where I was like, am I going to continue doing the podcast like this? No, I have a few, like 5-10 more episodes in me, but it was fun, but it was sort of like, this has been a fun little exploration. But then when I did it with Mike, I was like, this is something that, in terms of when he'd be a guest, I was like, this is something that could actually be super enjoyable as a long-term thing, and has a lot of longevity. So that I now see the podcast as something that can continue forever. Whereas then it was sort of just exploration, I feel like. And so, yeah, without Mike, we don't get here. And no, I all the praise to you, because the podcast has become something just so amazing since you got involved. But a few random things. First of all, sorry about the technical difficulties getting that clip up. So hopefully because we have a few more clips, hopefully they don't glitch on me. Second of all, for those that don't know, I said welcome to the first episode of the Star Wars Analyst podcast. That is what it was called at first. no relation to other Star Wars analysts out there, hence the name change, but just that's what that is. And yeah, no, this man, so much to say, but I don't want to sit here and ramble and ramble and ramble. So let's get to some other clips, and we'll just continue the conversation as we go. But there's someone who regular listeners would know means a lot to this show. He's on regularly. It was actually his birthday the other day, so happy birthday to him.
Yes.
One of Mike and I's dear friends. Of course, we're talking about Parks. We asked Parks to send in a clip just of him talking and talking about his experience on the show and all that sort of stuff, because he's a huge part of it, and we want to hear from him. And yeah, he means so much to us and the show, because having someone like him come on and bring a lot of his audience over and sort of having that ultimate collaboration is fantastic. So let's hear what Parks has to say on episode 100.
Hello, listeners of the Star Wars Exchange
for me. Let's see. And
Hello, listeners of the Star Wars Exchange podcast. It is I, Parks, or you may know me better as Artor. Long time no see. I'm coming at you live from my parents' house because it is laundry night. Also, it is the night of my dad's birthday, which happens to fall right after the day of my birthday, and both of those fall right before May the 4th. So, what a fun way to start the month of May in my family. Mike and Ari have graciously asked me to send them a message to commemorate the 100th episode of their podcast, which also happens to fall on May the 4th, and that is a pretty nifty milestone. They've also said that I can say whatever I want. So, that being said, here's what I have to say. The Crossing is the best episode of The Bad Batch Season 2. Cyril Karn from Andor is one of the top 5 characters in Star Wars. Rogue One is barely a good movie. Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo, though I prefer him over a deepfake Han Solo. He could have done a better job, if you ask me. Obi-Wan Kenobi, probably one of the worst Star Wars things of 2022. Worse than the Book of Boba Fett, I would say. And that show being mentioned, the final episode of the Book of Boba Fett was one of the best pieces of Star Wars media from 2022. Mike, I'm sorry, I lied. Tales of the Jedi is actually...
We won! We won!
The Mandalorian Season 3 is pretty good. Now, half of what I said in there is true and is stuff I've said on the podcast. The other half of it, I'm just doing it to stir up drama for the next time I come on the show. So
We won.
Tune in for that. We'll see what happens to me. But in all seriousness, my time on the Star Wars Exchange podcast can probably be best summed up by a moment that occurred earlier this year. I think I had just come back from a trip with my best friend across the country, and I was catching up with Mike outside the podcast. I believe we were playing Fall Guys. And of course, this is early January, and I was telling him, hey, Mike, it's officially been 1 year since my first appearance on the Star Wars Exchange podcast. And very honestly, his response was, it's only been a year? And that right there just tells you not only maybe how long 2022 might have felt, but more importantly, how meaningful my friendship with Mike and Ari outside of the podcast has been. Because despite having been on their show only for the first time 1.5 years ago with the review for episode 3 of Book of Boba Fett, it genuinely feels like I've been friends with them for much, much longer than that. And that's so meaningful, and that is so special to me because it is really hard to make friends as an adult. If you're someone who's, finished college in the last few years, like I have, and gone out into the workforce, then, you probably face this as much as I do, this difficulty with trying to make, an actual real connection with other people, when, we're all kind of, in that daily work grind or work routine or career pursuit or whatever, on top of the fact that, more than ever in the history of mankind, we have all this technology at home to keep us busy when we don't want to go out. And since the COVID-19 pandemic, we've never had a greater reason not to go out because sometimes it's just not safe. So yeah, it's really hard making like true, real human friendships in 2023. But that right there tells you just how fortunate I am that, and I can't put this in any better words than how Mike put it when he wished me happy birthday 2 days ago, to have crossed paths with Mike and Ari on their podcast. Because no matter how many times they ask me to be on their show, no matter how many times they fire up that RTOR signal and I show up on their podcast, and whatever it is we do, I view it not just as an opportunity to have another hour and a half long quality discussion on Star Wars, which I always look forward to and I'll always be excited about, but it's an opportunity to spend some quality time with these people with whom I discovered when I first came on their show that I had this deeper spark and this deeper connection with whenever we talked about Star Wars. So, Mike and Ari, thank you so much for being my friend. It really means so much to me. And I already know we are actively planning future adventures and future things we can do together. And by gosh, I'm sure I'm going to appear on your show a sickening number of additional times. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see where the road leads us, as they say. But for now, congratulations on 100 episodes. Here's to 100 more. May the 4th be with you, and have a wonderful day, night, evening. I guess you guys are recording this at night, but it's going to be airing during the day. Whatever. Just have a wonderful always. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye,
That
Parks.
was Parks. Oh
Love
man,
him.
we love that man.
Love-
Mike, do you want to
love
speak
Parks.
on Parks?
Yeah, that was the first time I listened to that, and that was great. That was very emotional. He's just a great guy. Like, we've had so many conversations with him. Like, after we record an episode with him, we'll sit. I've literally sat there one time after we record an episode. I think it was the Andor finale. We sat there for hours and just talked. And even Ari and I had to leave because I was very tired. But even our last episode, you guys still talking. Even after I left, we just to have found Parks and make just not even just like, oh yay, we need a correspondent or check in with somebody. No, it is more than that. It's like it's friendship, and he's helped out so many times too. And I just love talking to him, and he's great. I love his unique creative mind, and he's just has elevated the show because, well, me and Neanderthal over here will argue about Tales of the Jedi. He'll just come in here with facts and science and math and everything, and we're just over here yelling at each other, and he'll come in and bring stats, and I love his quirky mind, and also he's just a fun vibe. Like he can come in and just have fun, and he can be like all like by the book, like oh yeah, he knows his facts in here, and he'll sit here and lecture you, right? But then he'll come in and do something wacky with with the Obi-Wan finale thing when he came in dressed up as Anakin or Obi-Wan. That was the funniest thing, and I remember being blindsided by that, where I was like, what is going on? So yeah, Parks is down for anything and just ready to have like a good fun time. So yeah, love Parks. If you haven't already, check him out.
Yeah, check out Arthur. Also, you can just tell from his message, he makes such a conscious effort to just like know the show. Like all those references that he made were things that we had talked about, and all that sort of stuff. Trying to get a reaction out of us, because he not only is he on the show, he listens to the show, which is something we appreciate so much.
Right.
Like he's
most of our
genuinely
friends
so
don't even do
engaged.
that.
Yeah, exactly. And he'll sit there and write a super thoughtful comment for us about responding to our thoughts and what he thinks, and we appreciate him so much and everything he's done for us. So that is Parks. There is one more person I reached out to say, hey, can you send us a clip? And that is Noah, who is the Star Warrior on Instagram. So just a quick backstory: Noah was the first proper guest I had on the show that I had just set up the Zoom call and we recorded that, and I had never done that with anyone. I had been in contact with all these people over in the US since I was 11. Never have I once talked to any of them that wasn't in an Instagram DM. So the first time I did that, Noah was the one I just felt most comfortable with, because he was the one that I had talked to since I was 11 or 12, starting my Instagram account. So you reached out to him. He was willing, and if he had shut me down, I might not have ever recorded an episode with anyone from the States, which would have meant I'd never met Mike. So Noah is very important to the show, because that episode in itself was great. Also, Noah is just a super supporter of us, which we always appreciate. Making memes about the show and posting about us on his story, and sending us both really, really lovely messages. And then as well, he has reoccurred many times. I think he's been on 4 or so episodes, and we really love Noah. So I thought I'd give him the chance to send something in. Which
Hey,
he
this
did.
is
So
Noah, aka the Star Warrior.
Let's hear it.
Hey, this is Noah, aka the Star Warrior. 100 episodes. Wow, that is insane. I remember the first time Ari brought me onto the show, and that was in October of 2020, and we were talking about our favorite scary moments in Star Wars. The next time we went over Mandalorian Season 2, and the third time I was on, that was after you and Mike had combined efforts. That was our Book of Boba Fett Chapter 2 Tribes of Tatooine review, and in my humble opinion, that's where the show peaked, and it steadily went downhill from there. And I just remember us praising the heck out of that episode. I still love that episode. And then anyway, I believe that the fourth time I was on was when we were discussing the Bad Batch Season 2 episode with Cody. And I believe that's all the times I've been on. So anyway, it's been great being on the show with you guys. It's been great listening to the show. I'm so proud of you guys, honestly. It's so impressive, the work that you put into this show. You two are some of the most dedicated creators in the Star Wars community that I know of. The consistency of your work is just extremely admirable, and I look forward to chatting with you guys on the show again sometime. But anyway, Mike, Ari, you guys keep up the good work, because it's great. And you two are great. And here's to 100 more episodes.
And that is Noah. Shout out Noah. Mike, you want to say something about Noah?
Love Noah. I've talked to Noah since I was on Instagram, really like a year in. I've been knowing that kid, and I say kid even though he's like 2 years or a year younger than me. and I've just seen this guy grow up, and now he's engaged and everything, and I'm like, man, I love Noah. He's super supportive. Like he talks about dedication and persistence, but his account has been deleted like 5 times by Instagram, and he keeps coming back. He keeps crawling back. I'm like, they're never getting rid of you. He always comes back. So Noah is a force to be reckoned with. I love him. Love chatting with him. I hope to meet him in person very soon. Hopefully one of these days I'll probably make him come up to C2E2. But I love that guy. He's very just all around compassionate, kind dude, and he's very supportive of this show and all our work that we do, and that's always appreciated. Coming from it's from someone that I've known from Instagram that's seen like my every move. It's always great that he's like didn't just stick around for just like the first couple episodes. He's been here listening. And the cool thing is that makes me feel so cool is he'll go on these long road trips, and he's like, oh, thank God I like have like a couple episodes I haven't listened to from you guys that I have to keep me company on the road. And I'm like, what? Instead of music, you see me, I would listen to music, but he's gonna listen to us. We're gonna be his substitute radio or substitute, for music. We're playing on his car, which I think is insane for those that you do. I know there's people out there, but I'm like, as a kid, we would on our way to school every day, the radio would be on, the Spanish Mexican radio would be on, and it was just all this drama and whatever, just yelling back and forth. And I'm like, man, I want to be on the radio, but not like that. And now I'm on the radio, and sometimes it couldn't go like that. We bring up Tales of the Jedi, but other than that, it's like it's very chill conversation, and I love that. So shout out Noah and all you car radio players.
Absolutely. No, shout out Noah. We appreciate him a lot. One
Love it.
more group of people I guess we reached out to was the listeners, and we got a few messages. We want to read out two of them from people who have been listening for a while. One is John Michael, who is also someone we love because he was the first sort of, I guess, listener of the show that we got to meet in person at Celebration.
Yeah.
We have a picture with him up on the account.
So cool.
And he said, my favorite thing about the podcast is seeing how honest and insightful you guys both are. Your reactions are genuine, and you offer criticism that is very constructive, which just further highlights how passionate you guys are about this franchise. Y'all are also super chill and just fun to listen to. Congrats on
Aw.
100. So shout out John Michael. We appreciate that a lot.
Love it.
And then a message from Brian. He says, thank you guys for giving me something to look forward to and enjoy every new episode. Mike and Ari, you guys are the best. Shout out Brian. And shout out to all the listeners. We appreciate all of you so much.
Whether we hear from you or not, we love you still.
No, exactly. But yeah, let's talk a bit more about the show. And Mike, tell me, what, you don't have to do a top three or your favorite. Just tell me though, what are some of your highlights
of this podcast in general?
just of running the show? Like, it could be a specific episode, a behind the scenes, all that stuff. Sorry, I should have phrased that a lot better.
No, it's all good. I mean, honestly, I think doing the Celebration stuff was a lot of fun. Building up to Celebration was so much fun. Interviewing Daniel Jose Oder was a lot of fun. Bringing Parks on for so many episodes was a lot of fun. Those finale episodes that we live stream go super hard. Like, they're insane. Like, even us covering Celebration was really fun, and we had everybody up in there, and the live chat was popping, and we just got to talk to everyone. Even the finale one, that was great. I mean, we just have such a great community. Because Ari and I really wanted to talk about Star Wars with each other. We're a FaceTime call away or whatever, But you guys make it that we're not only heard, but you guys join in on the conversation, and I just love it when that happens, because I love talking Star Wars with everyone in the community, and when we hear and see you, that's great. It's like you're part of the conversation. So those are my highlights. I mean, I think like there's just a good chunk of the podcast that I just absolutely love, and all this year, all the work that we've done, and Andor was really tough on both of us, grueling, covering all of that with hectic lives behind the scenes and trying to keep up. That was really tough. But we did make it. And for Mando, even though it was like, oh man, how are we gonna even cover this? You guys made it so much fun because we were laughing about the Lizzo and Jack Black, and you guys just made it all the more fun. And Ari, I want to hear your highlights, but also I just want to hear, looking back now, I mean, to the kid that started this podcast, sitting, I mean, what was going on in your head when you created this podcast to begin with? Like, what was your, I know you said, you wanted to do it, but you didn't see it going for that long, but like, what's up? What's the deal?
For sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, to sort of talk to what was going through my head, I think when I was in Chicago last year, I actually showed Mike a bunch of videos on my hard drive, which I recorded when I was like 12, 11 years old, something like that. And I always was like, I want to be a Star Wars YouTuber when I'm older, I think, because, I love Star Wars and making videos seems cool. So I'm going to do that. And I guess I never like went away from wanting to do that, except, I just became a teenager and went to high school, and all the like positive life got sucked out of me, and I just it just wasn't at the front of my head anymore. And then COVID, one of the things that did make everyone do was just stop in their lives and think. And I was only 16 at the time, I think, but it was a great chance for me to just stop and think of what I really want to do, because I got much more involved in the Star Wars community on Instagram, and I just thought, you know what, like, everyone's doing this podcast thing, and I actually had like not naming names, because I'm not that anyone would listen to this, but I remember there were like people at the time who at like my high school and stuff that I not that I was bullied or anything, but there was definitely a lot of comments about, oh, Ari, that Star Wars kid with the podcast. And I think what helped me in the thought progress behind starting it was, well, I'm not going to school right now. There's no one to make fun of me. But also, I just had to let go of that and think, well, this is what I want to do. And I just thought it was a great symbol of just who I am. And just like I said, it was very experimental at first, and it's sort of at first the first like 6-7 episodes are very like, this is just me sitting down talking about Star Wars by myself. And then it became into like almost this networking thing where I got to meet so many people, and including Noah and our friend True, and Austin and all these people, and so there's many others like Michelle, everyone who's starting a podcast. Shout out Michelle. And and then the mic thing happened, and then that's the most rewarding thing from doing the podcast is just having a best friend like Mike now, to who I can go and visit in the US, and he can come visit me, and we're doing all that stuff, which is crazy. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I never thought it was going to turn into this. I never thought it was going to have any level of success, to be completely honest. Not that I'd say we're successful, but actually no, I would say we are successful because
we are.
We could have 2 people listening, but the fact that we get to do this every week and have fun is a success. So I'd say the podcast is successful. But I don't know. It just the highlights that jump off the page is that era of just recording those podcasts with people, which was topped off by doing the one with you, because I think you were the last one that I did. I had done like 5 before, and then you were the final one. And then I remember the conversation we had when I asked you to do it. I think it was the day after my birthday or something like that, and we were talking about it, and I was drinking my first legal beer.
His first beer ever, by the way.
Yeah, definitely my first beer ever. And then I don't know, it's become something just more than I ever could have wanted it to. And I told Mike before, I just did not think it would get to 100 episodes. Not that it was pessimistic at all. I just didn't think that's where it was going. But I'm so grateful that it did, because it's been such a positive thing in my life, and it's actually granted me so many opportunities. Just with friendships, but also like career wise and everything. So no, man, I just love this podcast, and I just want to be doing more of it in the future, keep it going. And we have so much cool stuff planned. Like, we announced this on a live stream, but like, me and Mike are going to New York together. I'm going back to Chicago. We're going to Disney World. Like, we're doing so much stuff in a matter of months, which is just going to be unreal. And that's just only the start of our crazy adventures, because we've already started those adventures. But anyway, I another highlight is, I mean, the obvious ones like Daniel Jose Older, that sort of stuff. One that jumps off the page literally is Brotherhood, reviewing that book. That was just an absolute blast. Even if you haven't read Brotherhood, go listen to that podcast, because that was just one of our favorite eras of the show, hands down. And then the ultimate highlight was doing those in-person podcasts, I think. But yeah, I feel so confident and so happy about the future, because I'm sort of just like, I'm just ready for more of the same, but for us to continue to grow and evolve like we always do. Like, we started this off by recording in Zoom with like my dodgy camera, and we weren't even doing video podcasts. And I never ever thought we would get to doing video podcasts, but it was something I always wanted to do. And then here we are sitting here in an awesome sort of like layout with all that stuff set up, and Ezra and Kanan, and it's just awesome. So I love this show. I love doing it, and I love hanging out with Mike. We'd be hanging out anyway, but it gives us a great reason every week to sit down and just talk about Star Wars, because that's like a huge part of our friendship. It's not everything, but it's a huge part of it, undoubtedly. So yeah, I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Just a bit, yeah. I great answer. I wanted that from you, because this is you started this bad boy and everything, and it's great to hear what was going on through your head, and where it is now, and what your thoughts are. So no, great. I think everybody appreciated that answer. That was really good. Thank you.
For sure. Before we do wrap up, I want to hear your thoughts on the future, because like I just said, there's in the very short term, we'll probably do something from New York. We got Florida, Chicago, all this cool stuff. How do you feel about that, and just the future of the whole show, and just stuff with us. So go for it.
Well, I think it's crazy because it feels real, but it doesn't. I literally had to get a 9 to 5 job so I could pay for these upcoming trips because I wasn't planning on doing. It's not even in my career field. I just had to get something for now because I need cash money for spending. But yeah, this podcast even put us on the path with Colin, and everything from the Star Wars Stuff podcast, and he's been great, and he's helping us with the whole Florida thing. So super excited, but I'm just very just comforted. I think Ari said, which is a great word in the future of this podcast. I mean, look, anything can happen, any time, but it's just last year I was always in the mindset of living day to day with the podcast and even with my friendship with Ari because I'm like, oh, we could meet each other and hate each other, type thing in person. But it's just like, okay, great. Like we just feel like we're just going. Like we just feel like we're at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 of the team working in sync and blasting cool music in the background. It just feels like that right now. And the future just seems super bright. Will we go to a celebration in Japan? I don't know. Maybe, hopefully that we can. But if not, there's still going to be so many. I mean, we're seeing each other like this summer, man. Like it's just, it's unreal. And I'm, it's destiny for one day for a good period of time to do these podcasts in person. That would be so cool to have like a home studio and just like record it and just sit there and like just sit there, because what we did here in my house was just great already. We just got to sit here and shoot the can, and it was great. And I would love to do stuff like that in the future, and so anyways, like, yeah, I'm very comforted, and I think that's a great word choice, and I'm just excited. I'm excited for this. It's still like more than a month away, but the countdown will soon come, and we'll get to just jump on to the excitement that we get to do. And it's also cool because we're hanging out, and are we podcasting the entire time? No, but people are still following along on our adventures and stuff, and it's just so much fun to bring everybody along with us, and just like, so I'm very grateful for this podcast, for Ari, and it's just like, we get to hang out again very soon, and going to New York, Florida, Chicago, like it's just gonna be an event, and I think it's what I've built up all of last year at the end of it, and all of the beginning of this year till now. It's what I've been building up for again, because I'm like, round 2, I'm down. I'm down. So, and the future of the podcast, like you guys, I'm so excited because like we're close to 1,000 subs. We're just reaching more and more people, and that's just exciting. And like it just, we're going in a very cool direction. So excited for it.
Yeah. I think that, this is just going to continue to be a sacred space for us and many other people, which I think is just so special. And I probably didn't think we get to 100 when I started, like I said, but I'm pretty confident we get to 200, and not that it even matters if we do or not, but the fact that I'm confident in that just shows that the comfort and the longevity of this show. So thank you everyone for 100. Thank you, Mike, for helping us get here, because like I said, it would not happen without you. So from myself and everyone, appreciate everything you do for the podcast. Wouldn't happen without you. So thank you everyone. 100 episodes. Here's to another 100. Happy Star Wars Day. I forgot it was Star Wars Day for a second. Happy Star Wars Day. Any final words, plugs, all that sort of stuff, Mike?
Happy Star Wars Day, everyone. Have a good time. We'll catch you next week. Make sure to follow the Instagram page, because I have a cool post coming out today about the story of the Star Wars Exchange. It's just cool visuals of everything we kind of talked about today, of like the major points, and go check that out on the pod page at the SW Exchange. And thank you for listening. For real, you made our Star Wars Day, because we had an audience to talk to. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you make sure you're following that Instagram page at the SW Exchange. Make sure you're following both of us on Instagram. You can find the links below. Give us a 5-star rating if you enjoy the show. Write a review if you enjoy. Subscribe. All that. Appreciate you all, guys. Happy 100. Happy Star Wars Day. We'll see you all very soon. As always, thanks for watching, and may the force be with you always.
Adios.